Bringing you the latest news from around the world, and here at home I am Sandro Ferdinando, and here are headlines for tonight.
Arjun Aloysius requests to name the central bank's senior deputy governor Nandalal Veerasinghe and retired deputy governor Anand Silva as suspects of the central bank bond scam. US Navy to perform a transfer operation to move cargo between planes at the Bandaranaike International Airport. The electricity deals that were a result of bad decisions. Another COPE report to Parliament.
තමුන්නාන්සේලාගේ බොහෝ අය පත් කරන වෙලාවේ හිටියෙත් සත්භාවයේ වංචා දූෂණ අවම කිරීම සඳහා උත්සාහ කරනවා නම් අගමැතිට කියලා අර්ජුන මහේන්ද්‍ර ඉක්මනින් කැදවලා දෙන්නකෝ.
President Maithripala met with the Singaporean President Halima Yacob.
The leaders met at Istana, the official residence and office of the President of Singapore. President's Media Division said the Presidents focused on further strengthening the bilateral ties between the two countries. Singaporean President commended the important steps taken by Sri Lanka politically, socially and economically. President Halima Yacob also appreciated the drug prevention program initiated by President Maithripala Sirisena. Meanwhile, a meeting was held between President Maithripala Sirisena and Singaporean Minister of Social and Family Development Desmond Lee and Singapore state officials of the departments dealing with the prevention of drugs. President's Media Division said the Singaporean government agreed to introduce the technical knowledge of the government of Singapore for the prevention of narcotic drugs. It added that President Maithripala Sirisena received a favourable response to the request made to assist Sri Lanka in eradicating the drug menace in the country.
Attorney for Arjun Aloysius, the beneficial owner of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, filed a request with the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court to file a case against a central bank official and a retired officer over the Treasury bond scam.
The motion filed by Attorney at Law Sajitha Jayawardena requests to name the central bank's senior deputy governor Nandalal Veerasinghe and retired deputy governor Anand Silva as suspects, citing it as a recommendation of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry as well. Attorney at Law Sajitha Jayawardena informed court one of the two men had already been given a promotion as well. He alleged the CID failing to record a statement from either men can be viewed as a move that evades justice. As the deliberations of the attorney were related to the ongoing investigations, court ordered for the attorney to present facts when the Criminal Investigations Department is also present in court. It was ordered that the facts be presented on the 25th of February. A very good evening to you. We are joining you with a special discussion about the power sector as mentioned in the headlines. Now yesterday, Shalan, we reported on a paper advertisement that was published. This particular paper advertisement is what we reported on yesterday, requesting for supplementary electrical and short-term basis power purchases. Now, when we examined the contents of this advertisement, it was clear that they are requesting for power to be purchased, subgrids to connect to the national grid from several locations that have been mentioned. The locations that are mentioned here are Pallekale, Hambantota, Horana, Galle, Mahiyangane and Polonnaruwa. Now, in our report yesterday, we questioned whether this particular advertisement and this particular supplementary power purchase agreement has been catered for a certain company. Now,
Chaturanga, why do we feel that, Chaturanga? The main reason is because this advertisement has been put out with a deadline set for the 5th of February. That gives a power company, a power generation company, what, 10 days to set up?
International power companies.
International power companies.
So again, when you coming back to this particular point that you just very correctly mentioned, will an international power supplier have the time to come from a different country, apply for this tender, wait for the tender to be approved, set up generators, set up power plants and actually provide power to the country? That is a question that
they have to provide the power to the country within 3 weeks after the tender is being awarded. That is the first point that gives rise to controversy in this advertisement that was published.
The second point that we are trying to raise here is, as I mentioned, Pallekale, Hambantota and Galle are mentioned, and there is a specific megawatt value capacity that has been mentioned in this advertisement. Now, one particular company, interestingly, Shalan, has the ability in all of these three occasions to provide the power capacity requested in this advertisement. So again, It raises the question whether
and
this was
very
done-
conveniently it was placed in these exact location, and this is one of the only companies that can provide such a massive amount or the required amount of power in these specific locations.
And
what is the name of this company?
This company is called Agrico Shalan. It's an international company, and a person by the name of Suresh Subramaniam has the operations in Sri Lanka running.
The name Suresh Subramaniam rings a bell. I believe he has been part of the headlines here in Sri Lankan papers.
Definitely. When back in 2017, in January, we see an article that has been published saying that Suresh Subramaniam, who is also a close friend of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, is the company owner of Suresh Agrico Profits from Norachole Breakdown, is the headline that has been mentioned here. Now, the power energy sector, before we move on to our next few points that we want to raise, Shalan, the power and energy sector and the issues pertaining to the power sector, the power crisis, we are not the only media institutions that have been reporting on this. This has been reported from time to time by several individuals. I can take you through several examples here as well. It has been reported on print media, on online media platforms, and almost all of these media reports point to one direction: the electricity mafia and all of these CEB individuals manipulating the system so that they can have adverse benefits rather than adverse to the general public through all of these transactions.
And we here at Newsfirst have continuously kept on highlighting the mafia behind the energy sector here in Sri Lanka.
Now we come to the point that we have uncovered today. There has been, the cabinet memorandum has been issued. We touched on it yesterday and we said that matters will be reported to you today. We have looked at this cabinet memorandum that has been put out. Now there are several issues that raises an eyebrow with regard to this particular incident that we are going to talk to you about. Now, firstly, this power purchase advertisement has been posted under the premise, under presumption that there will be droughts in the country in the future. That is how they are going in for this particular power agreement. Now, the second point is, the second main point is, Shalan, I will just take you through this, to authorize the SAPC, which is the Cabinet Appointed Procurement Committee, for awarding the tender, and to authorize the Ministry Secretary to award the tender subject to the covering approval of the Cabinet of Ministers. Now, interestingly, Shalan, a member of this CAPC, the Cabinet Appointed Procurement Committee, and the Ministry Secretary are the same person, Dr. Suren Batagoda.
Dr. Suren Batagoda is a member of CAPC, and he is also the Secretary of the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, who is the person who will be issuing this contract for the purchase of power. Also, Chaturanga, another fact that should be highlighted is this is the emergency power purchase system, but the advertisement here reads a different headline.
It says supplementary power purchasing, because emergency power purchasing can only be done under two circumstances. One is when a major power plant in the country is broken down, and the other is when there is a disaster situation in the country. Now, interesting, Shalan, you have brought us to an interesting point. When we take a look at this cabinet memorandum that has been placed, we understand to a certain degree that the minister in charge has put this through, hoping this as a supplementary time frame or a short-term solution to a problem that is ongoing. The problem being the fact that the government has failed to act according to the long-term generation plan that it has put in place since 2015 to go into low-cost power stations in the country. That is the problem.
So who is pulling the government from their leg, Chaturanga?
We have one person to point the finger at, and that can be Dr. Suren Batagoda. We have visuals that we have also obtained from the locations that we mentioned, the 3 power stations that we mentioned, and I'm sure our producers can put that up on the screen as well for you to see. But Shalan, again, when action is not taken at the correct time, action in action, when action is not taken at the correct time, this is what happens. The people have to lose billions of money. Now, Shalan, let me take you through the losses incurred by the Ceylon Electricity Board for the year 2018. It's not a small amount. Let me just take you through the number here. This is the number, the losses incurred by the Ceylon Electricity Board, and the number is about 26,805 million rupees, or 26.8 billion rupees, and the public of this country have to pay for these money, these losses
Definitely.
continuously incurred.
Also, Chaturanga, one thing that should be noted is we had allegations from international, countries, foreign countries, that we have massive corruption in our country, and that certain allegations were made against us that we have massive corruption. But notably, this Agrico, the company that is brought up to question here, is also a UK-based company, and if their countries are free of corruption as well, they should look into this. Am I not
Yes,
correct?
Shalan, from time to time we have seen international bodies, international countries like the countries in the United Kingdom have come and maybe in a way try to tell us what to do when it comes to tackling corruption. Maybe those countries can now look at one of their own companies trying to in a way cause losses of this nature to the country, to the people, to your money, to my money, to your money, our money, when it's being taken away from our pockets. All in all, what we have to say is there seems to be an issue brewing up here. There seems to be a controversy brewing up here. Have the officials misguided the minister? Have the officials deceived the cabinet of ministers? Have the officials been able to once again go around the cabinet of ministers and get approval for what they want? This is all happening because action has not been taken at the right time.
Also, Chaturanga, one more point. The reason why we point our finger to the officials, in this case Dr. Suren Batagoda, is the fact that prime ministers changed a number of times during our country, governments changed during our country, but one person in the energy sector stayed constant, and that is this official, Dr. Suren Batagoda.
That's the update we have for you today. As we promised yesterday and as we promise right now, News First will keep a close eye on these developments that are taking place, and we promise you we will report it so that the public's right to know is ensured. Sandru, it's over to you.
Thank you, gentlemen. So continuing in more local news, now the Committee on Public Enterprises, or the COPE, presented another report in Parliament today.
The report presented in Parliament today includes information relating to the performance of 17 state institutions between the time frame of 1st of July to the 30th of September in the year 2017. The 17 state institutions also includes the national carrier Sri Lankan Airlines.
Sri Lankan Airlines has incurred losses of 32,357 million rupees in 2014, 16,000 million rupees in 2015, 12,000 million rupees in 2016 and 40,000 million rupees during the 9 months ended to date. The ministers and officials of the relevant ministries must take a decision regarding this matter. The Paddy Marketing Board is another loss-making institution. There are many more state institutions that are running at losses. We made such a fuss to increase the daily wage of estate workers to 1,000 rupees and to mitigate the Sena caterpillar epidemic that has destroyed local cultivation. But we pay millions to pay for the losses incurred by these state institutions. We are submitting this report, requesting Parliament to look into these matters.
MP Sunil Handunethi proposed today that COPE meetings should be open to the media.
This report includes information pertaining to 17 state-owned institutions. We propose that the relevant facts in the Privileges Act be amended. We also propose that the rights and powers included in the Privileges Act be strengthened and the activities of the COPE and COPA be made available to the media as soon as possible during this time period. Honorable Deputy Speaker, we request that this report submitted by the COPE will be a subject to a quick debate in Parliament prior to the budget presentation. We are ready for a debate. If we intend to hide this information, we would have not given you the chairmanship. In all previous governments, the position of chairman of the COPE was given to an MP of the ruling party. However, in the year 2000, Ranil Wickremesinghe appointed Jayaraj Fernanda Pillai as the chairman of the COPE. He was an MP of the opposition. We are not against such findings. We will hold the debate on this matter. When members are being appointed to the COPE, a majority of your group was not even present. You must keep that in mind. I request that the report be called in Parliament. Now, let's recall as to how many were present in Parliament when MP Sunil Handunethi was appointed as the chairman of COPE. It was MP Laxman Seneviratne who proposed his name. His appointment was unanimously approved. Remember that this is the process of the council. If you are acting with the goodness of your heart to end corruption, tell your Prime Minister and bring back Arjuna Mahendran soon.
Now, quoting the US Embassy, the Daily Mirror newspaper reported that the US Navy will perform a transfer operation to move cargo between planes at Bandar Nayaka International Airport outside Colombo from January 21st to the 29th.
In a statement, it said that this is a part of a larger temporary cargo transfer initiative that promotes Sri Lanka's efforts to become a regional hub for logistics and commerce. The newspaper reported that this is the third iteration of the temporary cargo transfer initiative and that it follows two transfers that took place in August of 2018 at the Bandaranaike International Airport and Trincomalee, and in December of 2018 at the Bandaranaike International Airport. According to the US Embassy, under the initiative, several US naval aircrafts are scheduled to land and depart from the commercial airport, bringing in a variety of non-lethal supplies. The supplies will be transferred between planes and then flown to the USS John C. Stennis at sea. I would like to know whether Sri Lanka and the United States of America are planning on entering into an agreement named SOFA, which stands for State of Forces Agreement, by bringing in naval ships and aircrafts into commercially active locations. What is the government's stance on a threat posed to national security? I will request the government to look into this matter. It is not only our government that enters into the agreements with the United States of America. Previous governments did the same. In fact, every government has. So with time, these agreements are being revised and strengthened. In my view, there is nothing unusual regarding this matter. However, I will request the government to look into the question raised by MP Bimal Ratnayaka. On the 18th of January, the General Secretary of the SLFP, Dayasiri Jayasekara, also raised concerns over military activities taking place between Sri Lanka and the United States of America.
This matter has been discussed on the 28th of August last year. This document includes information regarding an agreement Sri Lanka is planning to form with the United States of America. American soldiers and army equipment will be brought into our country as per the agreement. The immunity enjoyed by the members of the US Embassy delegation will also be enjoyed by them. India was displeased with us following the sale of the Hambantota port to China. The USA also raised several issues regarding this transaction. And now, to please them, preparations are underway to give away the East Container Terminal of the Colombo port. Similarly, if a naval base is to be established in Trincomalee, what will be the fate of our country's sovereignty and territorial integrity?
Rohit Rajapaksa and Tatiana Lee turned a new page in life today. The wedding ceremony of Rohit Rajapaksa, son of opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa and Shiranti Rajapaksa, was in Veerakkatiya today. In more local news, UNP MP Dr. Jayampati Wickramaratne raised a privilege issue in Parliament today.
My complaint is regarding a broadcast on Sirasa TV that was aired on the 22nd of January this year. On that particular day, a press briefing was convened by the United Leftist Front, in which I am a member of. Many facts regarding the proposed constitution were discussed during the briefing. However, they refrained from broadcasting what was discussed during the briefing and only aired a personal conversation which took place after the conclusion of the briefing. They not only aired the personal conversation but also highlighted it with audio effects and subtitles to increase its clarity. This is what actually happened that day. The members of our party meet frequently. It has been our tradition to engage in a social and unofficial gathering after a meeting at the beginning of the year. We all have a meal together. That is our personal freedom. Those who consume alcohol do so, which we also consider a part of our personal freedom. We are people who socialize, who eat, who drink well. The broadcast further stated that I have requested that the microphones be switched off. It says that Lal Vijay makes a statement at 5 p.m. that the Politburo is taking place. So at 6:30, let's finish it and have drinks. Afterwards, I will prepare dinner. This is a private matter. Now after I highlighted this matter, they will start to attack me even more.
මීටත් වඩා වැඩියෙන් පහර ගහයි. අපි නම් 26 වෙන්න එන. මේ ඔෆ් කරනවද කරනවද? right. ඒක ටීවී එකේ තියෙන පොඩි එකේමනේ. හා? ඔව්. ඒ වුණාම හරියට කියන්න. එන කාමරේ බුක් කරන්න මම දැන් යන්න ඒකට. ටීවී ගන්නවද මේ වහන්න? හා? පහට පීපී. පහට ඒක අපිට 6 මාස විතර ඒක ඉවර කරනවා. අර එතනින්ම ඩ්‍රින්ක් කරන කටේ ඩ්‍රින්ක් කරන කතාවම ඩිනර්ස්ම හදන්න කියන්නේ. ඔව්.
Nationalist MP Dr. Jayampati Vikramaratne, we consider your gesture to remove the microphone that belongs to our media institution during a press briefing that was convened by your own political party as a threat. We have zero concerns regarding your allure towards beverages and food. Simply put, we do not care about what you eat and what you drink. Anyone who analyzes the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, which was prepared by you, would agree that it has caused several serious issues in the country. We do not have to remind you about the countless occasions this same point was raised at the Parliament. The general public would now question as to whether the 19th Amendment was also prepared during such a social gathering with food and drinks. It should be mentioned that we respect Lal Vijay Nayak, but we are terribly suspicious of the behavior of Dr. Jayampati Vikramaratne. Shame, shame, shame.
Construction activities of 17 roads which are located in several parts of the Kegalle district, including Deraniyagala, Bulatkopitiya, Deyovita and Yatiyantota areas have been halted for nearly a year.
Construction activities of 17 roads, including the road between Varakathanna and Migastanna, the road between Digala Junction and Rue Castle, and the road between Boralakanda and Ailavatta, commenced on the 17th of January 2017. The estimated distance of these 17 roads are 80 kilometers. 2007 million rupees, which was received as part of the financial aid from the Asian Development Bank, was allocated to finance these projects. However, few months after the commencement of road construction, the contractors had halted all activities. The public is now facing severe difficulties due to the abrupt end of road construction activities.
Our houses are covered in dust. This shows that they have not looked into these matters. If the allocated funds for these projects have not been misappropriated, there is no reason for such a delay. If not, contracts have been awarded for a lower cost. Then Ministers of the Government of Good Governance Kabir Hashim and Ranjit Simalapitiya, Dushmanta Maithripala, Deputy Ministers and MPs of the ruling party participated in commencing these construction activities. This was all inaugurated on the same day. Contracts should have been awarded to companies after conducting a feasible study. None of these were considered. Upon the approval of the minister, the contracts for all 17 roads were awarded to the same company.
A house was presented to the hearing impaired sportsman Rajitha Asanka by the Minister of Housing and Construction and Cultural Affairs and the Deputy Leader of the United National Party Sajith Premadasa.
3 million rupees worth house constructed under the Sayurapura housing project in Angulana Moratua was awarded to Rajitha Asanka. We all know and we have even proved how certain leaders distributed houses. Some rulers gave priority to certain people while ignoring the general public. I think such acts are traitorous. These houses are built using the tax money of the people. They are not built for powerful people but for the people of this country. I am extremely happy about today. We have been appointed again to fulfill our responsibility towards people.
The The promotional activities of the Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018 took place in the Kilnochi district today.
The promotional campaign of the award ceremony was conducted for the 9th consecutive day at the Pudukudirippu National School. Principal of the Pudukudirippu National School, Northern Province Deputy Director of Education R. Rajaseelan, Divisional Education Director Umanidhi Uvanaraja, Assistant Superintendent of Police in Mulathivu Percy Michael, Officer in charge of the Pudukudirippu Police M.G. Chandrapala, officials from the Capital Maharaja Organization and Allianz were also present. Sportsmen and women of the area were present at the event. The Sports First Allianz Platinum Awards 2018 was organized to felicitate Sri Lankan sportsmen and women who excelled in their performance at the local and international level between years of 2017 and 2018 and is scheduled to be held on the 29th of March at Stein Studios in Ratmalana. In line with the promotional activities, sports such as football, rugby and baseball were introduced to the school students in the area. The Platinum Gold Award for the most talented sportswoman in the Kilnochi district was clinched by weightlifter T. Tharushika from the Pudiyamkulam Mahavidyalaya. Silver and bronze medals were awarded to judo player Kapil Raj of Paligna Mahavidyalaya and S. Bimashan of the Muttuayan Kambu Mixed School respectively. The torch of hope of the Platinum Award ceremony reached Trincomalee. Sports displays, musical shows and many other programs were also organized during the promotional activities.
And with that, we're about primetime news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining. To Deka, good night.